Hi, teacher. Good evening.
Hi, Astrid. Good evening. How is everything?
Oh, it's fine, teacher.
That's good to know. So,
Thank
okay. How was your day?
Oh, my day was great. Yes. How about
Okay,
you,
that's
teacher?
it was great. It was great. It was raining in my city, so it was quiet. I was the whole day at home,
Oh,
so it was. Thank you for asking. Okay, so we're gonna start with today's classes, right? So please give me a second. So yesterday we stopped in simple past and past continuous with when. Okay, I'm not sure if that was the last lesson. Oh yes, it was. It was the last lesson, right? Simple past and past continuous. So today's lesson it's going to be about reported imperatives, right? So I'm going to share my screen, and once you can see it, please let me know.
Yes, teacher. I can see.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, let's listen to the audio.
Hi. Last week, a student asked me how he could improve his vocabulary. I told him to read a lot. I also told him not to look up every word, but to try to guess the meaning. I said to make a list with new words. All the sentences beginning with I told him and I said are examples of reported imperatives. Let's look at this form.
Okay, so this lesson is basically about a report, right? That if you're gonna say something, then I'm going to report what you said. So I told him to read a lot. I said to make a list. I told him not to look up every word. So first of all, we're gonna learn when are we gonna use the imperatives, right? The reported imperatives. So we have the imperatives, and then we have the reported imperatives, right? So first of all, let's listen the audio.
We use imperatives such as be quiet to give commands, make suggestions, give directions, and extend invitations. A direct imperative uses the person's exact words. Dean said, be quiet. When we write, we put quotation marks around direct imperatives.
Okay, so the imperative, right, are words like be quiet. As you can see, we're gonna use it to give commands, right? Are those citations that we could find in some books, right? Jackie said, be quiet, for example, okay? So it's like a citation, right? When it is useful in order to give commands, to make suggestions, in some cases to give directions or extend invitations, right? So you have a lot of options to use it. And we have the direct imperative, right? This is direct, right? I'm using or I'm gonna describe what the person's exact words, right? What do I mean with this? For example, if you're gonna say, I'm tired, right? So how can I make our imperative of that? The reported, the direct imperative could be Astrid said, or Astrid told me she was tired, okay? But in this case, in writing, we're gonna use comma, quotation marks, to say what the other person, or to write, to write what the other person said, okay? So it's like a citation, right? It's a citation, in other words. And again, we're gonna use it to give commands, make suggestions, right? If you're gonna say, I don't know, we have to stay, safe, right? So I'm gonna say, Astrid said, we have to stay safe, right? So I'm using your exact words, right? So that could be everything about the direct imperative. Is there any question until this part?
No, teacher, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So don't forget to use the quotation marks, right? The comma, space, and quotation marks when writing. So now we're gonna see the lesson, right? For the imperatives. It is basically when we're gonna report something, right? But when we make this, right, we actually don't use the same words, right? We are get used to change, right? So let's listen to the second audio.
We can also report imperatives without using the person's exact words. In this case, we use reported imperatives.
Dean told Jackie to be quiet.
When we write, we don't use quotation marks around reported imperatives.
Okay, now let's continue with the second point. We're gonna see that, okay, we can also report imperatives without using the person's exact words, right? So I have to change it, right? But I'm gonna modify some words in order to keep the original meaning, right? So as you can see, there is a huge difference between the direct imperative with the reported imperative. In this case, we have the person, right, being told Jackie, right, to be quiet, okay? When we write, we don't use quotation marks around the reported imperative. Being told Jackie to be quiet. No, this is incorrect, right? Because I'm using the infinitive, so I'm changing or I'm not using the person's exact words. So that's the reason of why it's incorrect to use quotation marks and then, okay? So that will be everything about the definition of what is a reported imperative. I don't know if you have any question.
Oh, teacher, for example, when I give, like in Spanish, in the first case or the first rule will be like cita textual.
Yes, exactly, right? Es una cita textual, right? Cuando utilizamos, y tiene que ver mucho, tal vez podemos utilizarlas en las normas APA y demás, right? Ya la diferencia entre el primero y el segundo es que esto suena más a chisme, right? Entonces ya no es necesario ni siquiera poner signos de puntuación de los quotation marks ni la coma, right? Eso sería, pues básicamente los reported imperatives son como como reportar, como chismear, right? Es menos informal. All right?
Thank you.
Okay, so let's continue with the third point.
The most common reporting verbs are say and tell. We use say when we don't mention the listener. Dean said to be quiet. We use tell when we mention the listener.
Dean told Jackie to be quiet.
He told her to be quiet.
Okay, we have some reporting verbs, right? Those words are gonna use in order to explain what does the person said to introduce, I mean, right? We have more than two, but these two are the most common, right? So the first one is say. I'm using the past because the person has already said, okay? We have an exception, and we're gonna look in that point in number 4, right? But let's start with say. When we don't mention the listener, for many reasons, maybe because the person said to the public, right? In general, or I don't want to mention it, or I know, but I don't want to mention it, we're gonna use directly to the reporting part, okay? So Dean is the person that said, be quiet, okay? Dean said, right, to be quiet. So as you can see, I don't have any listener, right? Said to whom? I don't have. So in this case, we have a listener. But if we're going to have a listener, this is incorrect, okay? If we're going to have a listener, we're going to use the second reporting verb. It is tell. We're going to use the past, okay? We use tell when we mention the listener. So that's the reason of why you're going to listen a lot is, she told me, she told us, she told her, right? There is a listener. And you're never gonna listen. She said me. This is incorrect because said is when I don't have a listener or I don't mention the listener, right? And told is when I have the listener. So in this statement, who is the listener? Jack. In this other one, he told whom? He told her. Okay, so I have a listener. So in the same way, right? It would be incorrect if I use told and I don't mention the listener. Dean told to be quiet. Okay, told whom? To whom? Okay, so we have to take care in this part. If I have, well, in both cases I have a listener, right? But if I mention the listener, I'm gonna use. So if I don't, I'm gonna use say. So that will be everything about the reporting verbs. I don't know if you have any question, maybe.
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're gonna learn the how can we find the reported imperative, and it's very easy, right? The structure is not difficult because we're gonna see one lesson forward, and it is about reported speech. So in that case, there is a big change in the structure, right? So let's start with point number 4. Let's continue.
To report an affirmative imperative, use the infinitive.
Keep your voice down. I told you to keep your voice down.
Okay, so the only thing that I have to do is to use infinitive. That's all, right? I told you to keep your voice down. Dean told him to keep his voice down, right? Everything is with the infinitive, to keep, right? So, for example, if you're gonna say, be quiet, right? Let's take a look. Okay, this is the imperative, right? The direct imperative. Be quiet. So I'm gonna say, Dean said the infinitive to be quiet. The infinitive, where is the place of it? Where do I have to place it? It's at the beginning to the with the reported imperative, right? Always goes at the beginning of the reported. So I told you where does it start in this part. So I'm gonna place it in this part, just in this part. Entonces, justo cuando vaya a empezar la oración que voy a reportar, ahí se ubica el infinitivo que es el to. Y no hay nada más que hacer. Ok, eso es todo. So now let's continue with the negative.
To report a negative imperative, use not plus the infinitive.
Don't interrupt. I told you not to interrupt.
Okay, now the structure is very easy again. The negative is gonna start, for example, if in the affirmative, I'm gonna start just in this part. In the negative one, the negative not, is gonna go at the beginning, and then I'm gonna continue with the infinitive, right? So we start the affirmative one with the infinitive, but if it's a negative one, I'm gonna start with the negative. How about this other example, this latest example? Dean said to be quiet. If I want to change this sentence into the negative one, I'm gonna say Dean, oh my goodness, sorry. Dean said not to be quiet, not to be quiet. He told her not to be quiet. Oh, there's something about it. I told him not to look up every word. Okay, so as you can see, all of them in affirmative and in the negative one, we're gonna use the infinitive, and I'm not gonna modify anything else in the word. In some cases, yes, we have to change the object, and there we're gonna look in the last page. How can we change it? But when I'm gonna start the reported part, the reported sentence, right? Then we're gonna use the infinitive. Okay.
Okay, teacher.
Any question, maybe?
No, no.
Okay, thank you. So let's finish with the last page.
In reported imperatives, we sometimes have to change pronouns to keep the original meaning. Amy, call me later.
Talia told Amy to call her later.
Okay. In this case, as I don't know if you heard that example I gave you. Para mantener el significado original, to keep the original meaning, sometimes we have to change the pronoun, right? Amy, in this case, Amy, call me later. So, John, en este caso vamos a suponer que John ha escuchado, entonces diría, Talia told Amy to call her later. Johnny can't say, Talia told Amy to call me, because Johnny it's apart from it, no tiene nada que ver. Ok, so, no te olvides cambiar el pronombre, y es súper, es sumamente notorio cuando tenemos que cambiar los pronombres. Call me later. Talia told Amy to call her because I'm talking about Talia, right? If it was, for example, if it was a boy, I'm gonna say Dean, for example. Dean told Amy to call him later, okay? And the same happened with sometimes phrases, right? To keep the original meaning, we have to change it. If I have tomorrow, I'm gonna change it by the next day. So let's listen to the last audio.
We sometimes have to change time phrases to keep the original meaning. Call me tomorrow, Amy. Talia told Amy to call her the next day.
Okay, so we want to keep the original meaning. I know in Spanish we turn to that. We actually say as it is, right? But this is not the case, right? We have to change the time phrases in order to keep the original meaning. So yes, that will be everything about this point. I don't know if you have any question.
No, I think it's clear.
All right, thank you. So, okay, that will be everything about the lesson. Now, we're gonna try to, you're gonna please give me your speech, but we're not gonna write anything, right? I only want to, I want you to speak, right? So I'm going to give you 5 minutes, right? In order to prepare your speech and trying to explain the lesson that we've seen today. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. So please go ahead. Okay, Esther, do you get it?
Yes, teacher.
All right, can you please explain me the lesson?
Okay. We talk about reported imperatives. We can some rules to talk about that. For example, we use imperative such as be quiet for make suggestions, give directions, give commands, and extend invitations. Well, two, we can report imperatives without using the same words that the other person said. For example, I'm going to use the example of the explanation. Dean told
Okay.
Yaki to be quiet. The other rule will be um, that when we report an informative imperative, in affirmative imperative, we use the infinitive, or in the case of in the negative imperative, we could use the word not before the imperative. And then
What else?
okay, in the sixth rule, for example, we can sometimes have to change pronouns to give the original meaning.
Okay. All right. Yes, that would be right. So it was great. Now it was better, right? And I don't know if you have any question about it, maybe, or it's clear.
It's clear, teacher.
Okay, thank you. So now we're gonna continue with the exercises we have in person. So once you can see it, please let me know.
Yes, teacher. I can see.
Okay, thank you. So let's do it. Can you please read instruction?
Okay, complete each sentence, click on the box and choose the correct answer.
Okay, so number one, please.
Talia told Nick to be serious.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to show you the answer. Okay. How
Jack
about
told him
number two?
not to interrupt. Nick told to hurry up. Talia to make a reservation. Get your voice down. Lynn told Jackie to keep her voice down. Her,
So
Tony told Talia the second option. Stay with it.
okay.
the next night.
Okay, thank you. So do you want to modify something?
And number 3, or
The second one?
talk. Yeah. No. Except
Okay. All right, so now can we submit, or maybe you want to change something else?
no teacher.
All right, so let's submit. All right, you only had one mistake. This is a direct imperative, right? Don't forget the, how do you know? Because of the comma, right? So in this case was with quotation marks. Okay. Do you get
Okay.
it?
Yes.
All right, so it was like state objective and the period. The period goes inside of our question quotation marks. Okay. So let's continue with the second practice. So okay. All right. So there you have it. Okay. Can you please read the instruction?
Yeah. Read each statement, complete the reported imperative that expresses what the person said. Type your answer into the blank. Here, look at the menu. She told her,
She told, sorry.
she told, she, she told her to look, to look.
Look at the menu. How about number 2?
And she said not to order an appetizer because the portions are really big. Be careful in the dish is really spicy. She told him to be careful because
If
oh,
we
she
told, we
told
have
her
to be, okay.
to be to her. No, only to be.
Oh,
Her
to be careful. She told her.
only her to be.
Oh yes, we already have careful. Sorry.
Okay. She told her her she told her not to be worried because she used spicy food. Tell me all about Italian. And she told her to to Tell.
To tell. To tell what else? Tell.
Tell her.
Because we have a tell me to tell.
Tell
Not me.
her. Mm. No, I don't know, teacher.
Okay, we're gonna take it at the end. Let's continue with number 6.
She said not to leave anything out.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone about it. She told her not to tell. Not to tell anyone about it. Trust me, Amy, I can keep a secret. And she told her to trust. No. No.
Okay. Is that all, or do you want to make a change? You want to modify something?
It's all, teacher.
Okay, so let's submit, and we only had 2 mistakes. Oh no, 3. So okay, you need to mention the listener after she told her not. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to take notes of this part. Okay. Right. So let's take a view. Why was number 4 encourage her to? Okay, the answer was her told her not to worry, but you told me not to be worried, right? So the word be was unnecessary, right? You only had to use it. Worry. In this case, we wrote be because we have the verb be, but in direct imperative we don't. Okay, we don't. So that would be unnecessary. How about number 5? The correct one was her. Why? I know it sounds redundancy, but she told, okay, her to call. We have to change this pronoun by her. That's what I told you. Is there something missing? And I underlined this word because you forgot about this pronoun. Okay, it was she told her to tell her. Okay, and the same happened with the last one. The answer was Amy to trust her, right? Or her to trust her. She told Amy, okay, to trust. You're not gonna say to trust me. You have to say to trust her in order to mention link. Okay, do you get it now?
Yes, teacher, thank you.
All right. Is there any question, maybe,
Mm.
or not really?
No, no, teacher. Mm.
Okay, thank you. I hope everything is clear. So, okay, now we're going to continue. So we actually finished the lesson, right? But we're gonna practice a little bit TOEFL, okay? We're gonna practice our speaking. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. So but before to continue, oh no, it's okay. Okay, you know that TOEFL speaking test is an interactive activity where you not only need to have the correct answer, but you have to speak out the answer in the right way. Okay, so the timing practice is critical. Okay, I'm gonna explain you how is it. The practice, this page I'm gonna show you, it imitates the mode of TOEFL speaking, right? So you're gonna have a timing, right? For example, okay, let's practice. I'm going to share my screen with you, right? So I'm not sure if this is the first time that we're practicing this this activity. For example, I'm going to choose number 1. Okay, so is there any invention that has changed your life in the most most recently? Explain your response with details and examples. Okay, so this is going to be my question. Okay, so I'm going to start for each question, right? You have 15 seconds to prepare your answer and 45 seconds to give your answer. Okay, for example, number 1. Okay, so I'm gonna take care. Okay, I'm gonna say, pay attention.
For the independent speaking question, you have 15 seconds to prepare and 45 seconds to answer.
Okay.
Your 15 seconds preparation time begins now.
Okay, so from now I'm going to have 15 seconds to prepare my answer. As you can see in this in the down part, you have the time observe, the timing. So let's do it. Okay.
Okay, your preparation time is up. You will have 45 seconds to speak. Please begin speaking.
Okay, so in my opinion, I would say that something that has changed my life and most recently is the Apple Watch that I just bought, because I don't have the necessity to keep my cell phone everywhere. So even though the second reason of it is because there are a lot of robbers from my home. So in that order, using my Apple Watch, I could save my phone, and I would receive my notifications there. So, okay.
Test end.
All right, and that's all. Okay. I know you don't have too much time to prepare your answer, but I try to do it, right? So that will be the practice. Astrid, I don't know if you have any question.
About the 18, or it will be the same, or maybe it could be changed.
Yes, I'm going to ask you, give me whatever number you want. Okay, 10. So this is going to be your answer, your instruction, your question, right? So we have some of them. Those are integrated independent questions. Tenemos, cuando vayamos a nuestro TOEFL, tenemos 2 tipos de preguntas. Las integrated questions y las independent questions, ¿ok? Primero, para poder avanzar a las integrated questions, tenemos que saber cómo responder las independent questions, que son preguntas independientes, es decir, que te van a preguntar de cualquier tema. Y bueno, desde el 2018 que ya se deja de preguntar algo así como preguntas como estas, más acercado a las preguntas de ahora, son más acercadas a ¿estás en acuerdo o en desacuerdo? Y explica tu opinión y por qué, y con detalles y todo. Y bueno, lo que ellos califican, no hay una respuesta mala o buena, porque el TOEFL no califica si estás bien o mal en inglés, califica tu nivel. Entonces, para esta parte es súper importante entender la instrucción, entender tu pregunta, Después, como el tiempo de preparación es mucho, solo te dan 15 segundos y 45 segundos para responder. Y lo recomendable es que pienses primero si estás de acuerdo o en desacuerdo. Y eso es todo. A medida que vayas hablando, se te van a venir ideas a la cabeza y bueno, eso es lo que se trata de ver. Eso es lo que se califica. Vamos a empezar con la primera pregunta, right? Pero no te voy a cronometrar, pero sí que vas a preparar tu speech y tiene que durar 45 segundos. Está bien si te pasas o haces menos, es tu primera vez creo que estamos practicando. Y ya luego vamos estas son las integrated questions, no sé si sigue compartiendo mi pantalla a un PDF.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Y esto va a ser básicamente, ya te van a dar 20 segundos para preparar y 60 segundos para responder. Entonces ya es un poquito más tedioso. Estas son las integrated questions. Are those questions that are academic, ¿ok? Esas son académicas. Así que bueno, para poder aprender a cómo responder, primero tenemos que aprender por lo más básico. Por lo general, te dan seis preguntas. Las 3 primeras son integrated y las otras 3 son independent. Y siempre va desde lo más básico, de intermedio, hasta lo más difícil. Lo mismo sucede con el writing, lo mismo sucede con el listening, te dan partes fáciles, nivel A1, A2, luego B1, B2 y luego C1, C2. Entonces, lo mismo sucede con las preguntas, te van a dar alguna pregunta fácil, luego un poquito más difícil, ¿ok? Entonces, vamos a empezar con esta primera pregunta, que es una de las más fáciles. Y algo que es importante, si no te supieras la respuesta, es decir, si, por ejemplo, ahorita yo ni siquiera tengo un reloj, pero me he inventado, está bien, no van a corroborar o algo así. Lo importante es que puedas responder bien, que esté bien estructurado, que tu inglés esté fluido. Ahora, a medida que vayamos, voy a ver cómo está tu speaking. A medida que vayamos practicando, te voy a ir corrigiendo las cosas acorde a tu lugar. Entonces, no sé si tienes alguna pregunta, Astrid.
Con respecto al tiempo, el de preparación son 15 segundos, ¿no?
De preparación, sí. Solo que yo ahorita no te voy a tomar en cuenta el tema de los 15 segundos porque vamos a ir por partes. Pero sí, te dan 15 segundos para las independent questions, te dan 15 segundos, inmediatamente ya son 45 segundos. Y ya para las integrated, que son un poquito ya académicas, un poquito más complicadas, vamos a encontrar nuevo vocabulario y vas a escuchar audios y vas a leer y todo, ya te dan 20 segundos para preparar y 1 minuto para dar tu respuesta. ¿Ok? Pero ahorita no te voy a... no vamos a hacerlo con tiempo, pero sí los 45 segundos sí los vamos a cumplir. ¿Ok? Tiene que ser en el tiempo. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes, okay, to prepare your answer. This is going to be your question. Right now I'm with time lapser for my cell phone. Ahora mismo estoy con mi temporizador de mi celular. Entonces, ¿tienes alguna pregunta tal vez antes de empezar?
No, más bien voy a estar pensando en mi respuesta.
Okay. Si no sabes o si tal vez no, y me ha pasado varias veces no sabemos ni siquiera en español, inventate, no hay problema. Porque no les vas a decir a quienes califican el examen, no sé, nunca me ha pasado. ¿Ok?
Soy tratar de decir algo así.
Exacto, sí, no te preocupes. Tampoco es hacerlo rápido, ¿no? Porque igual como son 45 segundos, a veces los estudiantes tratan de hacerlo rápido. Entonces no, se pierde, va a sobrar tiempo y ya pierdes, no cumples con las instrucciones y ya es menos un punto. Entonces, okay, so from now, you're going to have 2 minutes to prepare your answer. Your time goes now. You have 20 minutes, 20 seconds, sorry. So, hurry up, please. Okay, it's time. So, give me a second. Okay. Once you're gonna listen, right? This audio is gonna let you know when does the 45 seconds starts, right? So just do it, please.
For the independent speaking question, you have 15 seconds to prepare and 45 seconds to answer. Your 15 seconds preparation time begins now.
Okay, so from now you're going to answer, right? Good luck.
Okay, your preparation time is up. You will have 45 seconds to speak. Please begin speaking.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, teacher. I think that the I recently mentioned that I got will be the wireless headphones because they are comfortable. For example, if you are walking or running, you won't be worried about it. Maybe disconnecting from your cell phone or iPad. And then too, you could stay with them all the time because they are small.
Okay. All right, thank you, Astrid. That was everything, right? I can imagine that the time was enough for you, because, bueno, pasa de que como hay interferencia y por el tema de las llamadas, siempre pasa que se pierden unos 4 segundos, 5 segundos, hasta que los estudiantes puedan recibir la información. Es como un retardo o algo así. Entonces, estaba bien. It was great. I didn't notice any spelling mistake, right? So it was great, right? You have to do it a little bit more fluently. Tratar de hacerlo un poquito más fluido. Estas palabras de esas expresiones demuestran un poquito de falta de fluidez, ¿ok? No siempre, pero en el speaking sí tenemos que evitarlas. Ya, claro, cuando estés hablando no hay ningún problema. ¿Ok? Pero en el speaking, por el tema del tiempo, tenemos que evitar hacerlo. ¿Ok? So, I don't know if you have any question, Astrid.
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you. So, we're going to continue practicing tomorrow, right? Mañana vamos a continuar trabajando. But I'm going to give you the 15 seconds, the 15 seconds for your preparation. Okay, it's important to. It was only I gave you 2 minutes because it was your first time, right? But a medida que vayamos avanzando tenemos que seguir las instrucciones para estar mejorando. ¿No nota algún error de spelling, de pronunciación? Right? Pero sí te voy a estar, a medida que vayamos practicando y vaya escuchando cómo desarrollas tu argumento, voy a ir calificando y dándote algunos tips con los que puedes mejorar. El día de hoy el tip ha sido tratar de sonar un poquito más fluido, ¿ok? Evitar la redundancia tal vez y tratar de ir directo al punto, ¿ok?
Está bien, gracias. Sí.
Okay, don't worry, Astrid. We're going to continue tomorrow, right? Don't worry. Algo que hacemos siempre con los estudiantes o es leer o escribir. Oh, perdón, el speaking, right? Todos los días lo vamos a empezar a hacer. Okay?
The teacher, thank you.
All right, don't worry, Astrid. So because it's time, we're going to stop until this part. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to see you tomorrow at the same time. And have a great night. Thank you for your attention and take care. Right?
The teacher, thank you, and see you tomorrow at the same
Yes.
hour, right?
Yes, yes, please.
See you tomorrow, teacher. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.